Greetings, in today's video we will discuss about a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Stay with me till the end of video for bonus fun facts. The book argues that habits are a fundamental part of our lives and that understanding them can help us change our behavior for the better. Duhigg explains that habits are made up of three parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. By identifying these components, we can start to understand how to change our habits. The author provides numerous examples of how habits work, including the story of how a marketing team at P&G turned Febreze into a successful product by understanding the cues and rewards that customers were seeking. Duhigg also discusses how habits can be changed, using examples like the story of Tony Dungy, a football coach who was able to turn around the losing culture of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by focusing on changing the players' habits. The book emphasizes the importance of creating keystone habits, which are habits that have a positive ripple effect on other areas of our lives. For example, starting a daily exercise routine may also lead to improvements in diet, sleep, and productivity. Duhigg also explores the role of willpower in changing habits, arguing that willpower is like a muscle that can be strengthened through practice. The author provides practical advice on how to change habits, such as identifying the cue and reward for a habit we want to change, and creating a plan to substitute a new routine that will satisfy the same cue and reward. Finally, the book concludes by emphasizing the power of community in changing habits. Duhigg argues that when we join forces with others who share our goals, we are much more likely to succeed in making lasting changes to our habits. Overall, The Power of Habit is a fascinating exploration of how habits work and how we can use this knowledge to make positive changes in our lives. By understanding the science behind habits and learning practical strategies for changing them, readers can gain valuable insights into how to achieve their goals and live more fulfilling lives. Now here's a more detailed summary of The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, chapter by chapter. Chapter 1, The Habit Loop. The first chapter introduces the concept of the habit loop, which consists of three parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The author explains that habits are formed through a process called chunking, in which our brains group a series of actions into an automatic routine. Duhigg provides several examples of how habits work, including the story of a woman named Lisa Allen who was able to quit smoking by identifying the cues and rewards that triggered her cravings. Chapter 2, The Craving Brain. The second chapter explores the role of cravings in shaping our habits. Duhigg explains that habits are reinforced by a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which creates a pleasurable sensation in response to the reward. The author provides examples of how companies like Starbucks and Apple use sensory cues to create cravings in their customers. Chapter 3, The Golden Rule of Habit Change. The third chapter introduces the golden rule of habit change, which is that in order to change a habit, we must first identify the cue and the reward. Duhigg explains that by changing the routine, we can create new habits that satisfy the same cue and reward. The author provides examples of how people have successfully changed their habits using this approach, such as a woman who was able to stop snacking by substituting a new routine of taking a short walk instead. Chapter 4, Keystone Habits, or The Ballad of Paul O'Neill. The fourth chapter discusses the concept of keystone habits, which are habits that have a positive ripple effect on other areas of our lives. Duhigg provides examples of keystone habits, such as exercise, which can lead to improvements in diet, sleep, and productivity. The author also tells the story of Paul O'Neill, the former CEO of Alcoa, who was able to turn around the struggling company by focusing on changing a few key habits. Chapter 5, Starbucks and the Habit of Success. The fifth chapter examines how companies like Starbucks have been successful in creating habits in their customers. Duhigg explains how Starbucks uses sensory cues to create a habit loop that keeps customers coming back. The author also discusses the importance of organizational habits in shaping the culture of a company. Chapter 6, The Power of a Crisis. The sixth chapter explores how crises can be a powerful force for changing habits. Duhigg provides examples of how people have been able to make dramatic changes in their lives in response to crises like addiction or financial ruin. The author also discusses how companies like Alcoa and Target have been able to use crises as an opportunity to make positive changes in their organizational habits. Chapter 7: How Target Knows What You Want Before You Do. The seventh chapter examines how companies like Target use data mining to understand their customers' habits. Duhigg explains how Target was able to predict which customers were pregnant based on their shopping habits, and how this information was used to target them with personalized advertising. The author also discusses the ethical implications of using data mining to shape people's habits. Chapter 8: Saddleback Church and the Montgomery Bus Boycott. The eighth chapter explores the role of social movements in changing habits. Duhigg provides examples of how social movements like the Montgomery bus boycott and the civil rights movement were able to create lasting change by shifting social norms and creating new habits. The author also discusses how the principles of social movements can be applied to personal habit change. Chapter 9: The Neurology of Free Will. The ninth chapter examines the role of free will in habit formation. Duhigg discusses how our brains have the ability to override our automatic habits, but it requires a conscious effort and willpower. The author provides examples of how people have been able to change their habits by tapping into their sense of autonomy and willpower. Chapter 10: The Habits of Successful Organizations. The 10th and final chapter examines the habits of successful organizations. Duhigg provides examples of companies like Google and the U.S. Marines, which have developed cultures that encourage good habits and innovation. The author discusses the importance of leadership in shaping organizational habits and creating a culture of excellence. Overall, The Power of Habit provides a comprehensive and engaging exploration of the science of habit formation and how it can be applied to personal and organizational change. Through a combination of storytelling, scientific research, and practical advice, Duhigg offers a compelling case for the power of habits to shape our lives and transform our world. Here are some key takeaways from The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. 1. Habits are formed through a loop of cue, routine, and reward. By identifying and changing the routine, we can create new habits that satisfy the same cue and reward. 2. Cravings are reinforced by the neurotransmitter dopamine, which creates a pleasurable sensation in response to the reward. 3. Keystone habits are habits that have a positive ripple effect on other areas of our lives. By focusing on changing a few key habits, we can create significant improvements in our overall well-being. 4. Companies like Starbucks use sensory cues to create a habit loop that keeps customers coming back. By understanding the science of habit formation, businesses can create products and services that are more effective and appealing to consumers. 5. Crises can be a powerful force for changing habits. By using crises as an opportunity to make positive changes in our lives, we can create lasting improvements in our habits and behavior. 6. Social movements can create lasting change by shifting social norms and creating new habits. By tapping into the principles of social movements, we can create positive changes in our communities and the world. 7. Willpower and autonomy are key to changing habits. By tapping into our sense of free will and autonomy, we can overcome our automatic habits and create lasting change in our lives. 8. Organizational habits and culture are key to success. By creating a culture that encourages good habits and innovation, businesses can create a competitive advantage and achieve long-term success. Overall, The Power of Habit offers a powerful and practical framework for understanding the science of habit formation and how it can be applied to personal and organizational change. By identifying our habits and understanding how they work, we can create positive changes in our lives and achieve our goals more effectively. Here are some fun facts about The Power of Habit and its author, Charles Duhigg. Charles Duhigg is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist who has written for the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and other publications. Duhigg's interest in habits was sparked by his own struggles with his weight and productivity. He became fascinated by the science of habit formation and started researching the topic for his book. The book's central concept of the habit loop was inspired by a study conducted in the 1990s by neurologist and Graybiel at MIT. Graybiel found that habits are formed by a loop of cue, routine, and reward in the brain. Duhigg's book has been translated into over 40 languages and has sold millions of copies worldwide. In addition to writing, Duhigg is also a popular speaker and has given talks on habits and productivity to organizations like Google, Harvard Business School, and the NFL. One of the most memorable stories in the book is about a woman named Lisa Allen, who was able to transform her life by focusing on keystone habits like exercise and healthy eating. Duhigg's research on Lisa's story led him to start running himself and lose 12 pounds. Duhigg's next book, Smarter, Faster, Better, explores the science of productivity and how we can achieve more by working smarter, not harder. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to check my other videos. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you find it useful to develop better you better me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to check my other videos.